today's live. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Madison. I am an Akashic Records reader. I am a medium. I am a Reiki master. I do a little bit of everything when it comes to channeling, teaching, and I also do a lot around helping people to tap in and access their abilities that they have that are the same abilities that I have. Anyone can channel the Akashic Records. Anyone can learn how to do Reiki. It's all about just finding the right person to be able to work with and help you along the journey, and also give you the confidence to activate those innate abilities inside yourself. So if that is things that you're interested in, you are definitely in the right place. And today we have a very special message. I had a plan for this 31 Days of Spirituality series that I've been doing, where I've been sharing all the different modalities that I've been using that took me from being somebody who is a functioning alcoholic to somebody who is now a spiritual entrepreneur. And I was on the way to go do an Akashic Records reading and a Reiki session, and I had this download from my guides that was like, scratch everything, we have new things you need to talk about. Like, stop talking about like the basic concepts that people can find anywhere on YouTube and start doing more channeled messages. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. So I channeled the Akashic Records, and I did a little bit of an automatic writing session. If you're not familiar with automatic writing, it's basically the process of being able to tap into things like the Akashic Records or your spirit guides and be able to sort of write everything that's coming through. And most of the time it ends up being a really cool transmission or teaching or message or whatever. So this message from the Akashic Records was all about Ascension and Lightworkers. So Lightworkers are anybody who right now are going through a spiritual awakening and feel the urge, soul purpose, or desire to align their spiritual awakening with their long-term income or impact. So I'm talking Reiki healers, I'm talking people who want to start YouTube channels, who have been having a lot of cool spiritual experiences that you feel that need to start sharing with others. All of those things are, if they've been kind of coming up inside you, probably going to come up a lot stronger over the next year. So I wanted to share with you guys this transmission from the Akashic Records and really just give you guys some good insight as to what's coming and what to do next if you identify with the term lightworker or grid worker or reader or Reiki healer, whatever that looks like. The Akashic Records actually gave me probably 6 different types of light workers that are going to be really busy over the next 10 months, and gave me specific messages for each one. So hello, see you guys in the chat. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy to connect with you today. So channeled message from the Akashic Records to light workers. The time is now. Ascension is happening as we speak. More people will ascend and awaken in the next 10 months than in the past 10 years. If you're putting off stepping into your new earth role, now is the time to take the next step. So then they proceeded to give me guidance for each type of a light worker. So let's start talking about readers first. There are a lot of people who are being called to start doing readings, whether it be tarot readings, Akashic Records reading, medium reading, oracle reading, intuitive reading. A lot of people are being drawn into this right now. Why, you might ask? It became very clear in the Akashic Records the reason so many people are being drawn to start stepping into their role as being a reader is because so many people are about to awaken, ascend, and want guidance from you. So if you are watching this and you're a reader, and maybe you've just been doing readings for family and friends, but you've been feeling called to step into offering that as maybe a part of your income and maybe making it a actual business, this is definitely your sign that you are supposed to do that. I was getting a download that there are going to be so many new people that are going to awaken over the next 10 months that, like, the amount of people that are doing spiritual work right now, there's not enough to basically have all the resources and tools and things like that that all of these people that are waking up are going to need. So if you feel called to start reading, or if you feel called to start offering readings, or committing to telling people that you do readings, now is definitely the time for you. what I was getting for readers specifically, new clients incoming, get prepared to deal with the newly awakened. A lot of people that are probably going to be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of tarot, I've heard of the Akashic Records. What is that? How does it work? I want to know my soul purpose, like whatever it is, right? So we've got advice, work fairs, festivals, show up online, whatever you feel called to do, take the next step today. Whenever I first started doing readings, I solely did readings at fairs. There are tons of metaphysical fairs all over the world, and they're always looking for readers and healers to come and to show up and to offer what they offer. So whenever I first started doing this, I solely just worked fairs, and I was always just traveling anywhere I could find a fair that was drivable distance and showing up with my little table and my little chairs. And whenever I first started doing this, I didn't even have business cards. I literally had like little Canva fake business cards that I had printed out, and like I taped them to tarot cards, and that was like how I gave out business cards. The point of that story is like, you don't have to have it all together. You have really just got to take the first step. Hello, see you guys in the chat. Your girl Kai Snyder. Hi, so good to see all you guys. Thanks for being here today. So take the first step, whatever that looks like for starting your journey of doing readings, because right now there are so many people that are needing the validation that this is all real and a modality that will resonate with them. And I truly believe everybody that feels called into spiritual work is because you already have an audience that is out there waiting for you to step into your role so they can start their ascension journey as well, right? Because one of the quickest ways to awaken is to help other people awaken as well. So if you feel called to reading, now is the time. That's the guidance from the Akashic Records. Let's talk about grid workers. There is a big need for grid workers right now, and a lot of you are probably doing this and you don't even know it. I was doing grid work for several years before I realized what it was, or that there was an actual term for it. So grid workers are going to be any sort of high vibrational person of the light who goes to maybe sacred sites, maybe state or national parks, maybe very overpopulated tourist areas, and you going there actually helps to activate that land. A couple ways that this can happen. Sacred sites, there are a lot of sacred sites that have kind of been turned off to an extent because of the overpopulation, over tourism, and also just because of negative or dark entities or beings or things like that kind of wanting to allow there to be less sacred sites or less places that humans can go and kind of have a thinner veil and be able to tap in. So I specifically was told to go to Joshua Tree and do grid work in Joshua Tree. So I did that back in April, but a lot of the places that I've been called have been state and national parks and also some sacred lands. And normally what I do is I go and I essentially have a process of like giving Reiki to the earth. And so I'll give Reiki to the earth, I'll try to activate the land, I'll try to send healing to the land, and I'll also try to send healing to the people that are there. The way Reiki works is if there's anybody who's not interested in receiving that energy, it just doesn't go to them, right? So you never have to feel like you're intervening on somebody's free will when you're doing this work. Like I always put it out for the people who have this in their timeline, in their highest will, to be able to receive this healing energy, and anybody who doesn't, then it just goes into the earth and continues to activate the earth, right? So there are a lot of people that are being called to do grid work. I have a lot of my spiritual friends that have been called into grid work sort of unknowingly. And a big reason is because right now there is so much just chaos and turmoil in the world that Lightworkers are needed to come and be that beacon of light for people to really be able to kind of counteract the negative that is going on in the earth with some of the positive. Hello, Mary Lee. See you in the chat there. Good to see you. So one of my customers, I have a customer that's kind of turned friend, and she very much is, hello, I see you, Bombtastic, so good to see you. So I have a customer of mine who's become a friend, and she is unknowingly been doing grid work, right? And so she would get called to, for example, a concert. She's in this big concert area, and she doesn't really feel the need to maybe participate in like the concert things, all she felt called to do is just like send light and love to the land and to the people. And I kid you not, she's literally being told from her guides, like, connect with the earth, send love to everybody at this concert. At the same time, there's a bombing in another country. And so there's no coincidence of when you're being called to grid work or where. So if that's something that resonates a lot with you, it's because there's really been just this call of people to need to get in more of the space of positivity and joy and kind of counteract some of the negativity that's going on in the earth right now. So let's talk about psychics. If you are a psychic and you are not sure what am I supposed to be sharing about, how am I supposed to be working with my audience, the very clear download I got was focus on the 5D and how to get people to the new earth, right? So we're in this period where everybody is going from 3D to 5D, and not everybody is going to choose to make that ascension, and that's perfectly fine. But so many people are going to awaken over the next 10 months, right? And so during this time, there's a lot of help needed from psychics to be able to give messages about what does new earth look like, how do we get there, what are some things that we can be doing now to prepare ourselves, right? Really that message of positivity and what is to come that might encourage people while they're in that messy middle, if that makes sense. So let's get into healers. If you feel drawn to doing any sort of sound healing, energy healing, healing through yoga, breath work, like there's so many different ways that we're doing nervous system and energy healing nowadays. So if you are a healer and you are called into healing, this is the guidance from the Akashic Records. Take that class, get bookings live on your website, and really set yourself up to be able to start working with customers. Because here's what really specifically came through that I thought was crazy. Reiki is going to become mainstream. So I got that download in the healer section, and I was like, okay, well, tell me more. What do you mean Reiki's about to become mainstream? And this is the download I got back. Similar to how over the past 8 to 10 years, therapy got super mainstream, Reiki is about to get mainstream the way that therapy has in the past 8 to 10 years over the next 8 to 10 years. And if that happens, like there's not enough Reiki healers and practitioners to be able to support that level right now, right? So there are a lot of you that have been called into energy work or into doing Reiki or into getting into healing, and you haven't done it because you're like, I don't know, there's already Reiki healers. Do people even need sound healing? I already know other sound healers. If you're called to do that, it's because there's a specific audience there that needs you. And I always think that there's no coincidences when it comes to what you're drawn to and what you're called to. And if you feel called to step into the healing path, that's definitely because we're about to step into this period of ascension where we need more healers than there are right now. Hi, Ari. See you in the comments there. Good to see you. Okay, so if you are moving into the space of feeling drawn to do spiritual teachings, this is the time. So I'm definitely being called to take my teachings in a little bit different direction. I've been doing teachings as far as teaching people how to do like their own cacao ceremonies, teaching people about the chakras, teaching people about Reiki, and I also teach Reiki classes and Akashic Records classes, and I teach people how to do these things. But I'm being called to start teaching in a little bit different way, and I think a lot of you will probably resonate with this. So advice for teachers from the Akashic Records: launch the classes, the retreats, the workshops, whatever you feel the need to launch. It's because there's an audience that needs that thing, right? So I am very much being called to still continue to do the in-person one-on-one work that I do, but I'm also being called to make a membership platform that allows for everything that I teach in person to be available completely online for a much lower cost. So that way, literally anybody can access their own Akashic Records, can learn how to do their own energetic clearing, can learn about their chakras. And so my guides have been very clear, like you need to change up the way that you're doing some of your teachings to make them more easily accessible to anybody who wants that. So if you feel that draw as well, like maybe you're solely in person, you feel the need to start doing a little bit more online, maybe that's a little bit uncomfortable for you, that's okay. That's sort of where I'm at as well, and it's okay to be in that messy middle. So a little bit more about my membership platform, it will be called the 5D Ascension membership. It will go live on Monday, which is July the 28th, and every single Monday there will be a new teaching that will help you ascend from 3D to 5D. So the first 4 teachings are going to be very good about giving you the fundamentals or the basics. So we're going to have an Akashic Records teaching as the very first one to teach you how to access your Akashic Records. I do a lot of my channeling through the Akashic Records, so I wanted to be able to give you guys kind of the fundamentals for what the Akashic Records are, how they work, and how you can access them. So that'll be the very first teaching. So if you've wanted to learn how to access your Akashic Records, this is definitely the most affordable way to do it, is through the online membership. From there, I'm going to be teaching you guys other things like a chakra clearing visualization that I work with that allows me to be able to clear and align my chakras anytime, anywhere. We're going to talk about the importance of energy work. We're going to talk about what energy work even is and how you can access that as a healing modality. We're going to be doing so many different things. That's just a glimpse. So if you're feeling called to start offering something similar, or feeling called to start doing more teachings rather than maybe readings, then this might be a sign for you to start to step into that role. Okay, the last category that the Akashic Records gave me in terms of areas to give guidance on was specifically to channelers and remote viewers. So right now there is a big influx of, I wouldn't say channeling and remote viewing is going mainstream, but it's definitely getting to the point where like pretty much everybody knows that like the CIA uses remote viewing, that there's all these declassified documents around remote viewing. Like there's a lot more knowledge and exposure around remote viewing and channeling, and if you are doing that and you are not sharing about it, I'm definitely being told that you need to share your experiences, share your knowledge, and this gift is about to get way more attention. The other thing that came through was specifically if you are somebody who is channeling or remote viewing with interdimensional beings. Obviously, we all know the disclosure is coming probably very soon, and so I'm definitely getting a really strong download that anybody who is remote viewing or dealing with channeling interdimensional beings, now is the time to step into a little bit more of maybe acknowledging that to the world, because I'm definitely getting that over the next year there are going to be a lot of people that are going to have visits, sightings, channel interdimensional beings, be able to learn how to remote view, and a lot of you guys are called to be kind of the ones on the front lines that are sort of like, hey guys, this is real, I can do it, here's what my experiences are. So that way when other people start to have those experiences, they feel normal, right? They don't feel like it's something that is taboo or wrong or crazy, or, you know, whatever. Because the more we go through this period of ascension, the more people are going to start tapping into new gifts and abilities that maybe they didn't know existed, or maybe that they thought were a little bit maybe out there, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit what came through in the Akashic Records. The guides were very clear, like Ascension is happening now, people are awakening. Maybe you found this video because you're going through a spiritual awakening, and if that's why you're here, I'm so happy to have you. I do a lot of teachings and work around helping people to tap into their spiritual gifts, helping them to learn about things like energy healing in the Akashic Records, and how to access your higher self, how to step into higher timelines. I was somebody who very much 5 years ago, I was stuck in the matrix. I was addicted to alcohol. I was in a marriage that was imploding. I now am in a completely different timeline, right? And so I've literally experienced the power of being able to jump and shift timelines, and it has been just so rewarding for me to just truly see how things come together. So I want to share everything that I know with you guys, so that way you guys can feel that same level of just freedom of being able to step into your highest timeline and show up as that highest version of self. So a little bit more about my offerings and working with me. I do have a retreat coming up in Sedona in September. It is September 21st to the 26th. Sedona is actually where my spiritual awakening started. So I had been working with my spirit guides. I've been a medium for a long time. And when I went to Sedona, I went on a healing trip, and I had just gotten divorced. I was going through, I had just gotten sober. Like I was in this big change period of needing a lot of healing. And so I went to Sedona, I worked with an energy healer in a vortex, and it literally changed my life. It validated and confirmed that I wasn't supposed to be stuck working in the corporate world in a job that I hate. I was supposed to be starting to share my gifts, and I did have these gifts for a reason and for a purpose, and it was to start to normalize things like this in a world where maybe they're not normalized. And so my guides have very much been saying, go back to Sedona, create the experience there for other people that you've had that allowed you to step into this higher timeline. So we're going to Sedona September 21st to the 26th. We do, I think, only have one spot left. So if you do want to join us, all of that is linked in my website and also in my Instagram. All my socials are at A Holistic Awakening. And I have quite a bit about what we're doing every single day there, but every day is going to be something fun and something spiritual. So one day we're going to explore the Grand Canyon and doing a cacao ceremony. So it's going to be a good mix of fun and spiritual, and also doing work in vortexes and really just doing a lot of healing. So if that's something that sounds fun for you, would love to have you join us. It is an amazing group of women going, and yeah. Somebody just said, where are you from in the U.S.? I am currently in Greensboro, North Carolina. So I actually grew up here in Greensboro, and then I moved around a little bit when I was younger, and then ended up moving back to Greensboro probably about 5 years ago, because this is where my family is. So that is a little bit about me and where I am right now. I do love to travel. Hi, Funhouse, good to see you again. I do love to travel, so I'm definitely trying to make retreats a bigger part of my business in 2026. I just have the one Sedona retreat this year, but next year my goal is to offer quite a few more, where there are both local and international options for you guys to be able to come together in spiritual community, be able to really get deep in your spiritual work, be able to have the resources and community and support that you need to feel a little bit more secure in your spiritual journey. Okay, you said you want to go to NC State University. I had quite a few friends that went to NC State University, and I actually went to East Carolina University. And so, fun fact about me, before I did spiritual work, I actually worked in HR for about 10 years, and I have a degree in psychology and human resources. So somebody said, do you travel to USA, like Colorado, Texas? Could you recommend places? Yes. Okay, Colorado. I've done a lot of Colorado travel. I have family in Wyoming, and I have also taken up skiing over the past few years. So a lot of my favorite places to visit, honestly, are national parks, but places outside of national parks, well, I'll give you guys my national park recs, and then I'll give you my outside of national parks. So National Park Dry Tortuga, one of the coolest places I've ever been. It's off the coast of Key West. And Zion National Park in Utah, also one of the coolest places I've ever been. Joshua Tree National Park in California, absolutely breathtaking. I did a lot of city travel when I was younger, so I've done like Miami and Denver and LA and Chicago and like a lot of the big cities. Now I'm definitely more drawn to more of the secluded places, like going to Mount Shasta or the Channel Islands. Other places that I've been that are outside of national parks that I would recommend, Colorado, specifically going to Breckenridge or Keystone. I've been to both, and both were really, really cool if you're into snow sports or skiing. I took up skiing a couple years ago, so this year we are going to hit up a few different ski places throughout the U.S. Other places that I love in North Carolina, any of the North Carolina beaches, and I also love Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain, that are two more local places. So yeah, thanks for asking. Love just keeping you guys sort of updated on all the fun things going on in my world, and I haven't been spending as much time traveling lately, but I definitely think September will be quite a fun month of Sedona, and maybe a little bit of travel with my boyfriend as well. So that is a little bit about what I have going on. So if you do want to join us in Sedona, feel free to shoot me a DM, sign up on the website, whatever feels good for you. And like I said, you can find lots more about that on my Instagram as well. Other things I have going on, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you very much can book a virtual or in-person reading. joining. I do have an office in Greensboro, North Carolina that is where I teach Reiki and Akashic Records and do one-on-one readings in person. If you want those things but you do not live in Greensboro, you can join my membership platform that will go live on Monday, or you can book a virtual reading depending if you just want virtual videos from me or if you want a one-on-one session. So that is a little bit about what I do, what it's like to work with me. And I definitely think that if you were drawn to this message, there was probably a very specific message from your guide. So if you're just now joining, feel free to go back and watch some of the earlier transmission that's come through. I just did a channeled message from the Akashic Records to Lightworkers. So thank you guys for tuning in. You can find more about me in my bio or in the show notes. I will be back tomorrow with another live at 11:11, and we will be talking about a different topic then, but definitely still something channeled from the Akashic Records. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please feel free to subscribe to the account, like this video, and I hope to see you tomorrow at 11:11 for the next video. Okay, talk to you guys later.